Mover today is gold, falling to its lowest level in 17 months. Look at that, down over 1% today, trading just above $1,200. Todd Horwitz, founder and chief market strategist of Bubba Trading, joins me now. Todd, great to see you. I wanted to get your thoughts on the big decline that we are seeing in gold, down another percent today. This as we see the dollar gain against most of its rivals. What do you make of all this? Is it because of the latest that's going on in Turkey?
Good morning, Sean. No, I think gold is just in a downtrend. It's been unable to sustain any rally for the last 3 or 4 months. And I think what you're really looking for is probably a push down even further. I'm thinking about 1180 before I'd even think of stepping in and buying any gold here. You're not getting the fear trade. That's not bringing in buyers to gold. You're getting not the Bitcoin traders aren't buying gold. So right now you've got a market that just wants to go lower. And until it decides that it's not time to go lower anymore, it's going to continue to push down. There's going to be a lot of pressure here, and you're going to start to see, I think, some panic selling coming here if we break 1200.
Yeah, you can see it down almost 3% here over the past month. Todd, switching gears here, talking about oil, that is also in the red today, down nearly 1%, slipping as emerging market fears continue to escalate. What levels could we be testing? Do you think we could fall below? We're right at $67 right now. Could we actually, in fact, fall below that? Maybe test 65, 64 bucks?
Well, I'm looking for the high 50s by the end of the year. I think that oil is totally overblown here. I think the rally was ridiculous. It was more based on fear. If you look at the actual pattern of oil, there's a formation called contango and backwardation. So when backwardation is when the front month oil, which is September right now, is more expensive than December oil. That at one time was $7 apart. It has narrowed, but still September is still higher priced than December, which is a bearish sign for oil. And I think it's more of a fear trade right now, which has kept it higher versus an actual fundamental trade. I mean, we've got plenty of oil. We've got over a 200-year supply in the United States without affecting the environment. So I see no reason that oil should go any higher. I do expect it to go significantly lower. I'd expect to bounce off of 66 and then 62, but I'm looking for the high 50s before the year ends.
Hey, Bubba, it's Kevin Kelly. Now that we're talking about
Kevin.
oil, we're talking about gold. Those seem to be like two great places to park your money if you're worried about inflation. And so we've seen inflation start to pick up. We just got CPI numbers. What is your take? I'm surprised we're not getting an underlying bid in gold given that fact.
You know, Kevin, I do think we're going to see a bid in gold at some point here. I just think it has some more work to do on the downside. If you just look at purely from a technical standpoint, you've seen it continue to break down at every opportunity. So if you look at about 1180, that is a real good spot. And one of the things we do know here is that the commercials are massively long now. Gold, well, not really long, but they're not as short as they usually are. And a lot of the funds have been shorting gold, which would trigger, I think, at some point a short covering rally, which would then push us back into an uptrend. But for right now, it looks like we've got some more work to do on the downside. And again, we understand inflation. We understand the things that are happening in the markets. But markets are still markets. And as long as they're going to trade, you're going to see price discovery. Right now, price discovery is lower, and the bears are in control of gold.
Hey, Bubba, Andy Serwer here. I want to switch back to oil and ask you about pricing there a little bit. And I agree with you. It doesn't make any sense to me at all what we're seeing here in the markets. I understand what you're saying about some of those technical factors, but how is it that the price can stay this high this long? I never expected that. What's your take?
Well, you know, we know there's some manipulation in the price of gold. Listen, we were tortured by OPEC for years until we had our own supply of oil. So now you see that big oil continues to keep a control, and they kind of keep a floor underneath it until, but eventually what I think we're going to see is that the real sellers are going to come in and they're going to knock it down. But again, when you have other factors of manipulation through Saudi Arabia and the Aramco deal, through OPEC, and through some fear, that is a way to keep a floor underneath it. But it's no different than the stock markets and the Fed put right now. I mean, right now, the market should be going lower based on all the information we have right now, but yet they're still kind of holding up as well.
All right, Todd Horwitz of Bubba Trading, thank you so much for joining us today.